Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel for Everything Arsenal, and welcome to a pre-recorded episode of the 49 Invincibles podcast. Obviously, back with me is the home, buzzing after yesterday's win. How are you?
Yeah, like you said, I'm buzzing, bro. I'm
Yeah,
excited, bro. We're in another semifinal. We've been
yeah,
in many semifinals over the last few years, so I'm just
yeah,
excited, and I think at the same time we have a very good chance of winning the Europa League. I think we have a better chance this time than we have in the last two
yeah.
seasons. So yeah.
So in today's episode, we'll be breaking down yesterday's game. I'll give Zoom a couple of stats from the match and also discuss Xhaka at left back. Is he the left back we needed? Maybe or maybe not. Obviously, discuss Lacazette. There's been a lot of rumors about him leaving this season, and obviously preview the Fulham game and also talk a bit about Emery coming back to the Emirates. So very good point you've made already. So we'll come back to that. So the first thing is Arsenal against Slavia Prague. What did you make of our lineup yesterday? I'll put it on screen. Any surprises for you?
So just a bit of context.
Yeah,
I mean, what you're seeing on the screen right now wasn't what I was seeing on the football apps that I was using. A
yeah,
lot of the football apps, and I thought maybe because a number of them were putting this formation, they put a
yeah,
3-5-2 with Xhaka in midfield and with Thomas Partey and all that, with a back
yeah,
three of Pablo Mari holding in Chambers. But
yeah,
obviously, over the last I think it was over the last couple of games, we've seen Xhaka play at left back, so I was sure we were playing with that back four.
yeah,
I was enticed. I was actually my only concern there was actually Dani Ceballos, because Dani Ceballos over the last few games in the Europa League has been a bit wasteful. He's been
yeah,
committing errors, and even aside putting aside his errors or the mistakes that he
yeah,
makes,
yeah,
he wasn't necessarily convincing, was he? So I was happy with it, because at the same time I knew Slavia Prague didn't have the right didn't have the blistering pace that you would need
yeah.
to outrightly expose Xhaka. So I was actually quite pleased with it, and I was mostly excited to see Pepe, Emil Smith Rowe, and Saka
Yeah.
in midfield, because I knew as long as Emil Smith Rowe and Saka play, we have a good chance.
How about Martinelli? Obviously, the first thing I saw when the squad came out is people complaining about Martinelli not starting. Were you okay with that,
Yeah.
or did you also want him to start?
No, I did want him to start over Pepe,
Yeah,
but at the same time, I think Pepe on the left and Pepe playing with Emil Smith Rowe and Bukayo Saka, it was always going to be uh, most likely going to be a good performance. I can't say always, because we've seen him
yeah,
give us 50-50 performances. But
yeah,
yeah, I wasn't too concerned. And plus, with Martinelli on the bench, and should we have needed it, I think Arteta would have most likely
yeah,
um, he would have most likely made earlier changes than in recent times. Because I think that's been the
yeah.
most annoying thing about Arteta recently, is that he makes subs so late. Well, what did you make it? Did you want? Were you of the same opinion that you wanted Martinelli to start?
No, I'm
No.
one of those people who's usually very scared, especially with Partey, Tierney, and Martinelli. When they play
Mm.
one game, I'm always like, just rest them for the next one because I'm always worried
Uh,
about them. The moment we went 3-0 up, I was like, get Partey out of that pitch because I'm always concerned about them getting injured. And I also think Saka, Smith Rowe, and Pepe have kind of worked for us better than with
it's
Martinelli. We've
yeah,
not seen really much of Martinelli anyway.
it's a good combination, and I think
Yeah,
my brother texted me at the same time yesterday. I think
yeah,
maybe around 60th, 70th minute thereabouts. He was like,
yeah,
"What's up with this guy? Why does he want to take off Partey, Saka, rest these guys, put in
yeah,
Martinelli?" It's
hmm,
You get double benefits, because you give some important players minutes, and at the same
yeah,
time you rest the injury prone players. So
yeah.
yeah, I agree with you. I think I would have liked to see Martinelli come off the bench a bit sooner. But anyway, it worked out.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the actual game. How did you feel when we scored and then the goal was disallowed? Are you like, oh no, here we go again? Or are you like, you know what, you're going to get other goals?
I was so frustrated. I mean,
Yeah,
I wasn't necessarily ruining or maybe seeing it as a warning sign, like bad omen. But at the
yeah,
same time, I was really frustrated, because we were looking at the referee, the Turkish guy,
yeah,
for what, 3-4 minutes. We're just looking at him and not getting any replays. And we didn't get the
yeah,
replays until after we scored our actual first goal. So
yeah,
I was really annoyed. But then the longer it went on, the more I realized, I think with Emil Smith Rowe looking back the way he did at the
Yeah.
linesman, it was most likely going to be called off. But I was really frustrated by the lack of replays, immediate replays.
Yeah, I was very worried as well. So we still managed to up our game again, better than that in the next like 2 minutes, and we managed to get a goal, Nicolas Pepe. Now the thing with Pepe this season, he's been quite good this year, 2021, like away at Wolves, away at Southampton when we played them in the league the same week with the FA Cup. When we played the Leicester away from home, he's been very good in all those games. So have you seen any improvements in his game and his finishing?
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't say finishing because, okay, I mean you can't ignore the finishing. The guy, well done to him. He has 10 goals and 4 assists in all competitions, even considering the lack of game time. If he was playing week in, week out, 10 goals and 4 assists is not enough. But considering he only comes on once in a while, he comes on as a sub, I think it's credit to him. But what I like about him the most is that he's simplified his game. He doesn't take too many touches anymore. He makes decisions much faster, and his overall gameplay, his overall teamwork with his teammates on and off the ball has improved drastically. And I think that's what he offers. I'm sure you know of a journalist called Gunner Blog. He talked about Arteta and why he thinks maybe Nicola Pepe won't have the technical security. The ball doesn't stick to him either when he controls it or if he doesn't control it. Because sometimes you can control it, but then you try and give a pass, you lose it. You try and dribble, you lose it. And for a long part of Pepe's career so far at Arsenal, he's been that kind of frustrating player. So I'm happy with him because he's just so much more useful to our team now. You know what I mean? And I think he's shown decisiveness. I think he pops up in the right positions in attack, so guys can find him in the right positions, and he finishes. And that goal that he scored, by the way, I mean, I've seen him in a very similar position, and he shoots, and he took a shot. I can't remember which game, to be fair, but he took a shot, and it just, there was no contact, or there was no conviction, or I don't know if he rushed it, but this time he was composed. And he took a touch. He opened up the angle to make it even more secure for a shot. So I was really happy with him. And I'm hoping he deserves. I think he deserves one more season with us to prove himself. I don't think he should be sold in the summer.
Yeah, which goal did you enjoy most? This one, the first goal in the second leg, or the first goal in the first leg? Which one did you enjoy most for Pepe?
I think with hindsight, I think you have to say the second one. But in terms of technical ability or the quality of the goal. The first goal in the first leg. I mean, his first touch was outside the box, but he only took 2 touches, and one of them was outside the box. The first one was with his right. And when you think about that, when you think that was with his weaker foot, just to set up the dink finish, technically, the first one was better.
Yeah, so I'll give you a start on Pepe. From the players who are still active in this season's Europa League, he has the most goal contributions. I think even overall this season in general, I think only one player has more contributions. So 5 goals and 4 assists in this season's Europa League. Do you think that is because we've been playing the likes of Dundalk, or are you not concerned about that? You're just happy he's getting the return?
No, not necessarily. I mean, why isn't Rashford the top scorer? Why isn't Greenwood the highest goal contributions? And they've been playing teams of similar ilk. At the same time, obviously, they've had a tougher run, and they continue having a tougher run. They've played AC Milan and whatnot. But I'm not making any excuses. We're in the same competition. You have no reasons, and you can't take anything away from Pepe. I mean, he scored winners. In the Europa League. And the thing is, he'd have bad games in the Premier League, but then he responds with great performances in the Europa League. And I'm happy with that. I can't take anything away from him. And at the end of the day, he has 2 goals in 2 quarterfinals. You know what I mean? And an assist. And an assist. So you can't take anything away from him. And I think going forward, he's more than deserved his position to start in the Europa League. I don't think anybody should bench him.
Yeah, in the next 10 minutes, we scored another 2 goals. Have you seen a better 30 minutes than that? The first 25 minutes than that the whole season, even recently?
No, I don't think so. I mean, what was frustrating was for me is I was obviously watching it on the streams, and my connection wasn't very good, so it was hanging a lot. But I was excited nonetheless, and we won the penalty. I didn't see initially how we won the penalty, but it was a clear penalty, and I think that set the tone. Lacazette, I mean, has he ever missed a penalty for us? I don't think he's ever missed a penalty for us, has he?
I don't think. And the one thing I like about him is he's converted very important ones at home to Chelsea, at home to Tottenham, away at Leicester this season. Very, very big ones.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, it's with no fuss, like the keeper doesn't get a hand to it, or even if the keeper guesses the right side, it's still too far and too quick. It's already past him. So Lacazette, penalty, he should be taking our first. He should be taking our pens no matter who's on the pitch, even if Aubameyang is on the pitch. Lacazette should be taking our pens. But the third goal was what was really nice, because Bukayo Saka, obviously with the disallowed goal, he went far post, right? And it was really good play from Callum Chambers, in my opinion, because I think that counts as Callum Chambers' assist, right?
Yeah, quick pass. It was a quick pass from him. Yeah.
Very quick pass with his left. And Thomas Partey made it a bit difficult for him, didn't he? It was a bit short, the pass to Callum Chambers, but he took control and he gave the great pass. Bukayo Saka, now, this is what I appreciate about him the most, is that just before that, he tried curling it far post. Like this time, he goes near post and he gives the keeper the eyes, Just the maturity to do that, and the intelligence and the composure and the technique, fantastic. I don't think anybody can have any complaints about him. And I saw a tweet online. Someone said, and it was actually a United fan page. I think is very well known. I think his name is United Trey. He said, "I think Bukayo Saka is better."
I saw it. Yeah. I'm so happy. So I'll give you a couple of stats from those players in that game. So Alexander Lacazette has scored 2 goals in consecutive games for the first time since May 2017. So he's never scored back-to-back braces for Arsenal. Obviously, he did it against Sheffield and now against Slavia Prague. He's never done it at Arsenal, like since the Lyon days. Arsenal have reached the semi-final of a European competition for the 10th time, including 3 times in the last 4 seasons. So very, very good stats again. We've been doing the job. And we've not really met easy teams. Benfica, Olympiacos, Slavia Prague. Obviously, in the past seasons, you'd say they are easier, but this season it's not that easy like the previous season.
Sorry, just some context on the Slavia Prague thing, right? A lot of rival fans, a lot of rival fan pages were throwing about. They were talking about They were talking about the away form, the home form of Slavia Prague and how they've beaten tough opposition and whatnot. But at the end of the day, we did what we had to do. We won games that we shouldn't have. Think of Benfica with the comeback, Olympiacos. You're right, and the thing is, it's not just in the Europa League. Even in the semi-finals in the FA Cup and the finals in the FA Cup, like the one we won recently. We beat Chelsea in the final and Man City in the semi-final. But this isn't the first time we beat Man City in a semi-final. In the season that we won the FA Cup versus Aston Villa, we also had to beat Man City in the final, right? Alexis Sanchez scoring the winner.
Yeah, 2017 when we beat Chelsea again and City in the semi-final and final again.
So we've been doing it, and I think now we have the right manager to continue that form. I think we're a great cup team. I think that's something you can't take away from us. So fantastic.
Bukayo Saka scored 4 goals for Arsenal in European competitions. That's only 2 people have done that before. As a teenager, and that's like in the 70s and 60s. So literally in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, there's no one who did it. When we had very many young players coming through for Arsenal, by the way, the likes of there's a lot like Anelkas of this world, many Fabregas. Arsenal have scored at least 3 goals in 4 consecutive away games for the first time in 1932. Since 1932. Basically, we scored 3 away at Leicester, 3 away at Olympiacos, 3 away at Sheffield, and now 3 away at Slavia Prague. Does that mean we have a better away record? Do you remember the last Wenger season? We lost every single away game apart from 1.
I think it's definitely improved. But at the same time, I don't know how that stat. I don't know if it gives good measure considering there's no fans. I think with different fans, with fans in the stadiums, there's that weak mentality that Arsenal have had over the last few years, over the last maybe 10 years in Arsene Wenger's tenure. So
Yeah.
maybe the lack of fans has helped us in that regard. But yeah, it's a positive, and you take it into your stride and you make the most of it. So when life gives you lemons, Sindio.
Yeah. Shout out to Opta Joe for those stats. And the last one I came up with by myself. Lacazette has scored 18 goals in knockout stages of the Europa League since 2009-2010. Only 2 players have scored more. So he's like 2 goals away from Falcao. Do you think he'll get to it this season? Because
Yeah,
we are definitely going to have 2 games or maybe 3 if we get to the final.
the thing is with Lacazette, I think he will, but at the same time, he needs
Yeah.
he still needs to show me a bit more. I think he was very clinical against Sheffield, and he was very
Yeah.
clinical yesterday as well. If you look at the second goal that he scored, that was my favorite goal because of the drag back and the finish at the near post. And I just hope he continues this form, because if there's a time to be as clinical as he can be, it's now, right?
Yeah.
So I
So
mean we're 2 games away from final, man. That's how exciting it is right now for us.
yeah, so Lacazette is the next topic. I've had a lot of people talking about Ings. Ings is a better striker than Lacazette. Even if we get to Vardy for one season, it may make a better impact than Lacazette, or Bamford is better than Lacazette. Do you agree with that? Do you think he's in the top 10 strikers in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think he is, but I wouldn't say Bamford is better, and I don't think Jamie Vardy would be better for us, much better for us than Lacazette, because Jamie Vardy needs space, in behind to really make the difference. I mean, a lot of his goals come from counterattacks or transition play. Lacazette gives us that hold up play. And the thing is, when you think about, I think Arsenal fans need to think about the striker vis-a-vis the attacking midfielders he has behind him.
Yeah.
Bukayo Saka, Emil Smith Rowe, and Pepe. They need the ball at their feet to make the difference. They don't necessarily put someone in behind. But if you have Martin Odegaard, for example, and then you bring in someone like Jamie Vardy, that's more interesting. But at the same time, I think Arsenal fans need to now focus on what we have now. We have Alexander Lacazette, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, we have Gabriel Martinelli. We might not have Kieran Tierney again this season. David Luiz might be out, and we have to make do with what we have. But I think we need to rest assured that this is probably the best chance we have of winning the Europa League. So no need to change things up right now. Stop focusing with the summer and what we could have and what we don't have. Think of what we have right now and just give them our full backing, our full support, and hopefully they bring us a European trophy now.
Yeah, speaking of Tierney getting injured, that has meant that Xhaka has been playing as our left back the last 2 games. Do you think he's done well, or do you think it's because he's not been up against the likes of Salah and Mahrez on that wing?
I think he's done well, considering he can only play what he has in front of him. And I think the question you're asking eventually transforms and becomes, if we play United, if we play Roma, and they have technically gifted wingers, do you want to expose Xhaka that much? But at the same time, it's not like Xhaka's bombing forward, overlapping Pepe. It's that would be hilarious and a bit miraculous. What Xhaka is offering is a balance. So you'll find Callum Chambers is the one now with a more attacking impetus. He's the one going forward and crossing, and he's more athletic for it, Callum Chambers. But Xhaka offers that balance. And the thing is, I think having Pablo Mari with Xhaka really, really helps, because he covers Xhaka very, very well. So I think he's done well. And if we're having him in the final versus United or Roma or even in Villarreal, I think what's going to be really key are the people around him. So obviously Thomas Partey, Pablo Mari, and Nicola Pepe. We talk about Nicola Pepe's defensive contributions, but he's been really helping Granit Xhaka back there in defense. So I've been really happy with him, but I've been mostly happy with him going forward, because Kieran Tierney is very good as a left back. Of course, he's one of the best left backs in the world, in my opinion. He's just been very unlucky with injuries. But what Xhaka offers is those forward passes, in behind. And I think he breaks enemy lines, he breaks midfield lines, and he finds guys like Dani Ceballos and Thomas Partey in really good positions to progress us even farther up the pitch. So I've been really happy with him. And honestly, has there been one moment where you were you're on the edge of your seat with Granit Xhaka left back? Yeah,
not at all. The only concern for me is that we don't have that attacking aspect from him, so you're really short. But it seems like, as you said, players who are playing around him, it seems like that hasn't affected us. I've seen Saka on the left, I've seen Martinelli drifting to the left the last 2 games, I've seen Pepe going there, I've seen Ceballos going there. So we still managed to create chances from the left side, even without an attacking fullback. So I've been really, really happy with that. Obviously, I don't want him to continue in that position every single day, but it seems like I saw you tweeting saying the midfield is faster without him there.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much faster it is with Dani Ceballos. I think it's marginally faster in terms of pace. But honestly, you're right. I agree with you in that if Thomas Partey can start in midfield with Granit Xhaka, that gives us the best chance of winning. But without Kieran Tierney and with the need to keep Bukayo Saka in attack, I don't want to. I'd rather Bukayo Saka right wing, Granit Xhaka left back, rather than Bukayo Saka left back and Granit Xhaka in midfield. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
But at the same time, I mean, how much how much is that decision influenced by the lack of Martin Odegaard? Because if Arteta has Granit Xhaka, Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, Pepe, Martinelli, I think he has more options. But at the same time, I think that will probably progress. I think we'll probably find out more about his willingness to use Xhaka when more of our options come back, or when more of our options are readier. Like guys like Gabriel Martinelli, he's been talking about patience, how we need to treat him like a youngster and protect him and reintroduce him slowly. And there's been talk, I'm sure you've seen, there's been talk of Martinelli being molded into a different kind of player than he is right now, to try and give him new attributes, new skill sets. So we'll see. But we don't have that much time until the first leg. I think it's 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. It's very important to have all those players back, as you said. Like, not because it will give us a headache about who's going to start. I'm just happy because you can have a good bench. Because looking at yesterday's bench, you wouldn't want that bench in the final. It reminds me of the Chelsea final, like Aziz, Nelson, Ketia. I wouldn't really want that bench. Hilson, I've never seen him play. So all those players wouldn't want them on the bench. So imagine you have, let's say, Martinelli. Okay, Martinelli is already there. You have Aubameyang on that bench. Let's say you relegate Xhaka to that bench and start Tierney instead. Odegaard, imagine if he was on that bench, or Smith-Rowe could have been on that bench.
You relegate Ceballos, you relegate Ceballos to the bench and put in Xhaka in midfield.
5 subs allowed.
Exactly. You're right. I definitely want to see. I definitely want to see us go as strong as we possibly could. And, obviously with COVID and now, for example, something as random, maybe not as random in Africa, but something as unlikely as Aubameyang getting malaria, which is a very serious disease. Obviously, it's a deadly disease. And I worry about it because we're going to need him in a couple of weeks. I hope he comes back to his usual fitness levels. The guy's 31 now. He's no longer a youngin, So we're gonna need a fully fit Aubameyang. And even if Aubameyang starts up front, you want to see Lacazette on the bench, not necessarily Nketiah or Balogun, some guys who are relatively unproven, So
So I remember when you did a show like before the last 32, before we even played Benfica, we were talking about the possibility of facing Emery. We don't have to wait anymore. Arteta against Emery, as you can see, Emery in an Arsenal suit there, and Arteta in the Man City colours a couple of years ago. This time round, it's Arteta is on our side and Emery is on Villarreal side. So, are you worried about this game because of the Emery factor? Or are you like, nah, Villarreal is not such good of a team, we'll still win?
The thing is, I don't know that much of Villarreal, and I know there was. There was hype around Unai Emery when he was top of the league earlier in the season. But I think, considering the squad he has, the club he's working for right now, it's kind of leveled out. He's now 7th with, I think, 46 points, if I'm not mistaken. 6 losses, 11 wins, and 13 draws. I think we're more than capable in terms of quality. Regardless, if I were to ask any fan right now, before we even were drawn Villarreal, let's just put them in a friendly. Who do you think is going to win? A lot of people would say Arsenal are going to win, despite our struggles. And I think the very least, what's going to happen is it's going to be a tough game. And hopefully we're proven right with Arteta as our new manager. If you look at that picture that you just uploaded, that was on the screen. I saw a picture today on Twitter going around, and it was actually, I think, our first game with Unai Emery. When and there was a picture of Arteta being held by one of the first team coaches and Pep Guardiola, and they were just celebrating him a lot when they scored a goal against us. And I think it's because Arteta saw something in the setup. He exploited some areas tactically. And I think we have to give credit where it's due. I think Arteta he's younger, he's less experienced than Unai Emery, but I think he's more of a genius when it comes to that. And at the same time, we have to give Unai Emery the credit he deserves. He's Mr. Europa League. You know what I mean? So let's see.
It's also a Spanish kind of derby, the two managers. So this will be a very interesting game. If you're to predict right now, aggregate score, what would you go for?
You like these aggregate score predictions. You've made me do one for Olympiacos. And I really don't like it because you have to do essentially two predictions. But I think I'm going to go with a 2-0 win initially with the first leg.
First leg is away from home, by the way.
First leg away from home. Okay, then I think maybe a 3-1 win and then a 2-1 win. So I think we're going to win both games. And
5-2. Okay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a draw there. I mean, if you look at the comparison of their league form, right? These guys have drawn 13 games. So it's either, I don't know much about them, but it's either they drop points because of they let goals in and they drop points, or they gain points coming from behind. Well, I guess we'll see soon enough.
Speaking of draws, in 2000, I watched my first Arsenal game in end of 2004. Obviously, you said you started watching after the Champions League final. I remember that. So the first European game I ever saw for Arsenal, though, was Villarreal against Arsenal. That was in 2006 in our run to the final, and that was away from home. I didn't watch the first leg where we won 1-0, and then the second leg, it actually ended in a 0-0, Lehmann saving a penalty, which meant we went on to the final. That was also part of our incredible, I think, 12 or 13 game round without conceding a goal in the Champions League. Villarreal was part of that. And then we also played them in 2009. 2 games, I think, in the quarterfinal. The days we used to go to the semi-finals.
Is it that when Adebayor scored that overhead kick?
Exactly that, away from home, and we also drew that game. So we drew in 2006 away, and we drew that Adebayor overhead kick. I think they scored a penalty. I think the guy was called Senna, if I'm not wrong, something like that. He scored their goal. Exactly, that guy, I'll never forget him. And we won 3-0 at home. So we always do well against them at home, and away from home we always draw against them. As you say, they've drawn a lot of games this season, so it could end up being a draw. So for me, I think we'll win like maybe a 4-3 or something, hopefully. So do you prefer Villarreal to Roma?
Yes, of course. Let me just draw up the Serie A league. I just want to see where Roma are. Roma are actually I'm just getting it right now. They're 7th. Actually, it's similar, but I think Roma have more quality. They have Edin Dzeko, Henrik Mkhitaryan, and they have Chris Smalling, and they score a lot of goals. Actually, you're right. They've scored 54 goals this season. That's something more akin to Manchester United. Manchester United's attack is very, very strong. So that's going to be an interesting game in and of itself. Manchester United, Roma. It's going to be I think that's more of, to be fair. And I know maybe Arsenal haters are going to disagree, but United Roma, Arsenal Villarreal are more Champions League games traditionally than Europa League games. But I think I prefer Villarreal to Roma, also because I just want to put that Unai Emery Arteta comparison to bed. I'm tired of it. Arsenal fans, some of them don't know, they don't see that we were weak under Unai Emery, that we were scared, we lacked system. And in my opinion, he didn't have the respect of the players.
Yeah, true, very true.
And compared to now, we have our issues. We're 9th, it's ridiculous. But at the same time, we've reinvigorated our season, in my opinion. I think we've we have a bit of a resurgence ever since the Chelsea game. Yeah, we've lost a few games here and there, but ever since the Chelsea game, we're a different side. We're not you're not facing the same Arsenal side.
Yeah, we've gotten people say stumbled. They don't like using the word stumbled. We've kind of gotten the right lineup in like at least 60% of the games. Obviously, we're hoping it gets to like 100% to that, but I'm very happy. Do you think United Roma each will go through? Roma have a chance?
I think Roma definitely have a chance.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, yeah, their league form might not say they have a chance, and their defense isn't very good. I think that's where the game will be won. They're going to need to put up a very good defensive performance, and at the same time, have a very solid attacking performance, because they're going to need guys like Edin Dzeko and Mkhitaryan to show up. Edin Dzeko, obviously a former Man City player, and so yeah, he knows something about Man United, and Henrik Mkhitaryan, a former Man United player. So hopefully that
end up seeing social media derby in the final. The prospect of seeing social media derby in the final, United against Arsenal. It's been long since United played Arsenal in a final. I think it was still back in 2005. So it has been really long. So last topic, Arsenal against Fulham this weekend. I did a preview of the Fulham final yesterday, and they don't seem that confident. Okay, they went for a draw, but they're like, you know what, whether we win or not, since Newcastle won their last game, I think we're already relegated. So they won't be taking it as seriously as they did the last 2 months. So what's your prediction for this one?
At the same time, to be fair to them, they have a good chance of getting out of the. They have a better chance than West Brom, and actually, no, it's not. That's not true, because they've played an extra game compared to Newcastle and West Brom, so it's very tricky for them. But they have four losses in their last 5 games, 1 win as well. So I think I fancy us. I do think we should be favorites for this game, and look at how far we've fallen down the pecking order. I think we should be favorites. I think we are favorites. But Fulham are an exciting team for all the wrong reasons and some right reasons. They play good football, and hopefully we get to see some of our players rested. Start Willian, start Martinelli, start El Neni, rest some players, because I think we have a week break until the next game.
Our next game is actually on a Friday, Arsenal against Everton. So
nice. Okay. Yeah. So essentially, we have like a week 6. I think it's the first time we don't have a midweek game in between. So hopefully we get a rest. Yeah, in a while. But I think my prediction. Yeah, I think my prediction is 3-1. I still see us conceding, because they have guys like Lukman and Mitrovic who can be very dangerous.
Although Lukman, I think, could be injured. I think he missed the last game with an injury, so that could be a good thing for us. Yeah, so maybe Mitrovic threat in the air as usual against Holding. I'm not convinced about Holding in the air. So I can see the table right now, and I can see we are 3 points behind Everton and 4 points behind Tottenham, and they play each other later tonight. So if Everton lose and we win, we are 8th. If they draw, we've closed the gap on both teams. I still say 6th. I know it's going to be hard to catch up with Liverpool and Chelsea, but Fulham, Newcastle, West Brom, Brighton, West Brom, we have such good fixtures, man. So I'm happy with the fixtures. My prediction for this, I'm going to go for Arsenal 3, Fulham 1. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's where I stand as well. And you're right. Look, all we can expect, and all that our expectations should be, is that we win our remaining games, and whatever happens. But why we win the remaining games isn't necessarily to finish as high. It's to keep the confidence up, keep the momentum going for the Europa League. Because if we lose 2 out of 5 games, we're not going to be as confident as we would be if we'd won all 5 games.
Very true.
So
very true.
For me, the most important thing, I know you keep looking at the league table, and of course you want Arsenal to finish as high as possible. But for me, it's like the us finishing as high as possible is just a consequence of what I want, and that's to win as many games as possible to keep the confidence up.
Yeah, that is because do you mind if we are not in any European competition next season? Do you think that would be a good thing?
I don't mind. I think that would be I'm actually writing a sample piece on the benefits of us being out of the European competitions, and I think it's considering Arteta, considering the hectic schedule that we're gonna have again next season because of the the World Cup and whatnot. Is it the World Cup, the Euros, and
The
players
Euros,
needing
World Cup
rest?
next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the World Cup after that. I think it's going to be really beneficial for us if Arteta has a game and a week's rest, or a week's free. What am I trying to say? A week being free, you know, to train and really implement our system, because that's what Klopp had, didn't he? I mean, Klopp had, or I think it was Brendan Rodgers rather. He had that one season where he didn't have any European competitions, and he mounted a title challenge. So I wouldn't be surprised if we mount a title challenge, or at least strongly challenge for the top four, because everybody else has Europa League conference, the Champions League, the cup competition. So I'd be more, where I stand with this. It's either Champions League or nothing. I don't want it. And even with the Champions League, I'm worried, because even if we do get Champions League, it's like, are we going to have the immediate transfer activity that we need to buff up our squad for the Champions League? Because you see the quality on the Champions League games, and we're not quite there yet. We're some way off.
You have to get that to win it. So we have to get there and see whether we can win it in the first season. So the reason I asked that is because I think if City or Chelsea win the FA Cup, 7th also gets Europa League. So if we don't qualify, if we don't win the Europa League, and if we finish 7th, it's still going to qualify for the Europa League if City or Chelsea win. City, Chelsea, Leicester win the FA Cup and not Southampton. Obviously, if Southampton win it, they qualify for the Europa League instead. But if City or Chelsea win it and they're already qualified for the Champions League, already from the league, 7th is now open for Europa League. So we might still end up being in the Europa League. From what I see, I think we'll actually finish ahead of Tottenham and Everton. So we might still be in the Europa League next season, hopefully the Champions League. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on, man. That was fun.
Thank you so much for having me, and obviously nakushukuru. So yeah, man, really, really happy, and hopefully we continue our running form, and we catch you again next week. Leo.
Yeah, awesome. So we've covered Xhaka, Lacazette, the Europa League game yesterday, the Fulham game, a lot of topics in the 37 minutes. So thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.